make sure people know what the standards are you expect from them. This is my little standards pyramid. People need to know what are the basic standards you expect of them, okay? They need to know what their role standards are. What does it say in their job description? What should they be doing every day? To what level? These two things are a no-brainer, but there's lots of organisations I go into, people don't know what they are. Yeah? What does, I've had, I'm sure you've come across this before. Somebody comes in late and you go, you're late. And they go, well, it's only by a few minutes. Oh, so that makes it okay then. Now, the fact that they've gone, it's only by a few minutes, tells me straight away, two people aren't thinking of the same basic standard that should be in place. So if the standard is 9 o'clock, it doesn't matter whether you're 30 seconds past it or you're 5 minutes past it. The fact is, that's the standard. So don't always assume people know what standards are expected of them. You need to have that conversation, yeah? What are the team standards? How are the team going to help each other, support each other, challenge each other, hold each other to account when somebody's letting the team down? What are the standards there? Because if you empower your team to have those conversations, things just get done quicker, faster, slicker, yeah? What are the communication standards? When are people supposed to talk to each other? By what, what method of communication are you using? What are you talking about? Why are you talking about it? What are the standards about comms? And then finally, at the top of my triangle, fun standards. And if you don't like the word fun, you can change it for motivational standards, but it won't fit in the top of my triangle, motivation. So I'm gonna go with fun, right? People spend a lot of time at work. What standards have you got in place to help people enjoy themselves, feel successful, build self-esteem, feel like they're contributing towards the team, the business, society as a whole? Have a laugh, have a giggle, have a bit of banter. What are the standards in place? If people know what standards are in place, it empowers them to be able to go and access them and do something with it. If this is never discussed, people assume. They assume what they think it is. And, well, it's only a few minutes late. But that's not the point. That tells me there are different standards in play. So what are the standards? This is a great little exercise, guys, for you to do with your teams. If you've got your team together, it's really, really good just to get this up on a flip chart and go, right, guys, what are our basic standards? Yeah, what are our basic standards? What are our role standards? Yeah? How do we help each other, support each other, challenge each other, hold each other to account? How do we talk to each other? And what do we do to make sure that we're happy and we have fun? If you do these things, it generates the ACE: align, create, enable. Align people to the vision, the values, and the standards in a team or an organization. Create an environment where people can be empowered and take responsibility. That's what align, create, and enable is all about. And for me, that's the best way to get empowerment. The absolute best way to get empowerment, by doing these things. This is the empowerment triangle. Sometimes I use this for leadership. We call it leadership triangle. Sometimes I use this internally and call it the internal triangle. But either way, there are 3 things that we need in place in order to be able to take responsibility and take hold of that empowerment, okay? First of all, making somebody empowered, you've got to do that at the right time, okay? It's not really fair to empower a new starter. Okay, what I mean by that is instead of a new starter coming in and you go, right, we're going to train you on this, 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 and this, right? Which is COP, isn't it? So you do this, this, and this, okay? So COP is quite useful for new people, right? We're going to do this, this, and this. If you had a new starter that came in and you went, well, you just do what you think's right for the next few days. That's not going to work, because there's got to be a certain amount of knowledge and process in place in order for people to be empowered to be able to go and use it, right? So empowerment is normally when you get to the level of trust in your relationship, which we'll come on to in a moment, okay? But before that, people need 3 things in place to be successful, okay? Goal, desire, belief. 3 things. So, the first is a clearly defined goal. Everybody is aiming at the right thing. Okay? Everybody knows what they're aiming for. Remember, there are other sessions on the YouTube channel when I've covered SMART goals, specific and manageable, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay? Most businesses I go into tell me they've got SMART goals, and in fact what they've got is SMUT goals, specific, measurable, and time-bound. Those goals are quite easy. By X date, we will make X amount of money. Specific, measurable, time-bound. Happy days. But it's not SMART because you're missing the A and the R. The A and the R is achievable and relevant. And what this empowerment triangle does is it makes a SMART goal. Okay? So let me show you what I mean by that. If you have goal, desire, and belief here, that is your triangle that we've got there. The goal that you have, or the goals that you have, they should be specific, measurable, and time-bound. Okay? So by X date, I will achieve X, Y, and Z. Okay? Nice and easy. Most businesses get their head around that. Make them all SMUT. Yeah, make all your goals SMUT. Happy days. Make sure your goal is specific, measurable, and time-bound. But then, there's got to be a certain level of desire and motivation for the individual that's being empowered. Okay? So desire is actually about relevance. So the desire is the R in SMART. How relevant is this thing to me that's going to mean I'm going to get off my bum, take the empowerment, and actually take responsibility and go and do something with it. Okay? So if you cover the R in SMART with whoever's going to be doing the SMART goal, then you can make sure people are motivated, you can make sure that their desire is high enough. And remember, when it comes to motivation, some of it's towards motivated, some of it's away from motivated as well, isn't it? Yeah? So, you know, the desire there, I think, is really, really quite key, but it does cover off the R in SMART. And then, of course, you're left with the belief. And belief is the A in SMART. Achievability. Achievability is about your belief whether you can achieve it or not. Because belief, remember, is internal. It's an internal measure. Yeah, just because somebody else is confident at something doesn't mean you're going to be confident at something. And just because you're confident about something doesn't mean somebody else is going to be just as confident about that thing. Okay? So, this little internal triangle, or this empowerment triangle, if you put this in place, make sure people know what the goals are, help them with their motivation, albeit individually they've got to take their own motivation because they're taking responsibility for it, and then help them build their confidence, albeit they've got to help themselves build their own confidence. If you can do that, then this triangle comes together, and actually you actually have a proper SMART goal in play at that point. So if anybody wants to do any research on SMART, believe me, if you read about it, a SMART goal isn't just something that's written down that is specific, measurable, and time-bound. That's just the SMART bit of it. A true SMART goal is also bringing in relevance and achievability, in other words, desire and belief, and that is really what makes people empowered at that point. Empowerment works well with customer satisfaction. Nordstrom, great example. Pete, I'll use that example quickly if that helps. I don't know if people know Nordstrom. They're like a department store in America. They were very, very famous in the 80s and 90s for their customer service. There was even a book written about them called The Nordstrom Way. You can still get that book and read it. But when you become a new person into Nordstrom, you come in, they train you on the process. Okay, so that might be the cop. They train you on the process, right? And once you've done your training, they give you a staff handbook. Okay, and you open the staff handbook, and you don't think it's a staff handbook because it's like a pamphlet. It's like 2 pages, and it says staff handbook on it. And you open the staff handbook, and it says welcome to Nordstrom. It's great to have you on board. Rule number 1, use your good judgment in all situations to give the best possible customer service. There are no further rules. If you have any questions, please find a manager and ask them for help. That's what it says for Nordstrom. Okay? And Nordstrom were renowned. There was an example, a personal example of a friend of mine had. Somebody bought some tyre change from Nordstrom. They didn't fit the wheels. They took them, their husband took them back because they didn't fit the wheels. Long story short, they got all the wheels fitted. They got it all sorted. But then the customer service assistant decided to tell the customer, Luke, we fitted these for you. I'll give you a refund. But by the way, we don't sell tyre chains. And so this person had taken some tyre chains back to Nordstrom, moaned about it. Nordstrom had fixed the problem and refunded for what the value of the chains, and they didn't even buy them from the same shop. Use your good judgment in the best in any situation to give the best possible customer service. Okay? So thanks for that, Pete. If you want to know more about that, the book, it's a great read. It's only about that big as well. It won't take very long, called The Nordstrom Way. And it's a great, great example of people being empowered for customer service. So thanks for bringing that up, Pete. Okay?